Cowboys camp. Maybe this offense really could be outstanding. No one's talking about that. That's Dak Prescott or George Pickens. RC, what do you think?
This is what George Pickens does. I think this is the reason you didn't need him and DK Metcalf. If you get one-on-one situations because CeeDee Lamb has an opportunity to get doubled, you're going to see this the entire year from Dak Prescott and George Pickens. He's that sort of player.
Could the offense be outstanding? That's what absolutely no one is talking about in Dallas right now. Adam Schefter was on his podcast yesterday talking more about the future of Micah Parsons in Big D.
And right now, both sides seem to be angry. Now, have other people put those feelings aside in the past and figured out a way to work out a deal? Yeah. I don't see that happening here. I see these two sides headed towards a divorce in time. The only question is, when is that divorce going to happen and how is it going to happen? Are they going to trade him now? Are they going to trade him after this year? It certainly doesn't feel like these two sides want to enter a long-term relationship together.
So it's gotten to that. And again, the Cowboys season kicks off 2 weeks from tomorrow. That standalone opening Thursday night game at the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. And you were making a really good point, Lewis, in our meeting this morning. I mean, so much has been said about this situation, but I thought you really framed it well about what you, as one who worked in, front offices and scouting before, why this galls you so much.
You work 365 days a year trying to find guys through the draft, young up-and-coming players that can become decades-long players, especially at impact positions. Micah has checked every box in that way, every single box. Impact player, impact position, impact statistics, timelines. He's done everything exactly the way you want. These are the kind of negotiations that when they come up, when the guy is entering into his fifth year, you're just like, okay, what's it going to cost? Let's just get this done. Maybe we should get it done earlier to save us a few dollars because we know that we're operating with a salary cap. But in no way, shape, or form should this be a situation where now you're ticked off over what? This is being hung up over what? Because you had an off-the-record conversation with a player by himself and thought you had a deal, and now you won't talk to his agent. Now it wasn't because the guy got arrested, he failed a drug test, he's a locker room cancer, he's been injured, he's a guy who hasn't produced, he's producing at a Hall of Fame rate. A young player that you drafted. These are the easiest contracts in the world. Everything that's happening with Dallas right now is self-inflicted. It's self-caused. And that to me tells me this, look, you know what you're doing. You know how you're treating this kid. You know, and you know what? You're fine with it. Because what did you say publicly just recently? Hey, man, when things are kind of like going a little bit too smooth, I'm paraphrasing, I like to stir it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, you're stirring it up all right. An impact player in his prime. Now Adam Schefter is talking about it's not a matter of if but it's a matter of when. That goes against everything that scouting departments try to do, the team builders try to do. And that, to me, that's just flat out embarrassing.
It should be the ultimate win. They traded back in the draft. They moved back in the draft to draft this player. It has been the ultimate success story, and instead
because everything about this, because everything is turned personal.
Yes.
Right. This is supposed to be about business, and in business, it's done a certain way. Lewis knows this. Dan knows this. Greeny, you know this. Like, you have representation because that's who negotiates the finer points of the deal. So when you have Micah Parsons in the room, he's telling you, I want to be a part of this organization. I agree to this what you want. I agree to this what you want. Now work out those finer details, the small print, so we can get this going forward. And because you don't go forward, or because he doesn't walk out of the room and sign it, or because he says talk to David Mulugeta, you now have to make an example out of him. This isn't one of those situations where everything is being kept quiet. Right? The fact that we know they haven't spoken, the fact that you're making jokes about it, you're laughing about it. The difference between Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones is this. Jerry Jones has had 30 years of ineptitude at his job. Right? That's the reason they haven't been to an NFC championship. That's the reason they haven't been to a Super Bowl. Micah Parsons doesn't have that time. Micah Parsons doesn't own the team. Micah Parsons is his own brand, his own individual, an individual contractor that has plied his trade the way he's supposed to, that says he's supposed to be rewarded in a certain way. And because you don't have control over the decisions he makes, you're now going to hold his contract and his job in purgatory. It's unfair. right? It's personal, and what Jerry Jones is doing is malpractice for any owner or general manager. And at some point, somebody's going to have to ask him, if you can't handle this the way a businessman should, it's time for Jerry Jones to step away because he's making a mockery of what the NFL is supposed to be.
That's very strongly, but I think accurately put, it is a mess. Shefty is using the word divorce. You've used similar phraseology on this. What does that look like? I mean, we are 2 weeks before the start of the season. So what are the realistic options of where this goes from here in the short term?
2 weeks from tomorrow is an inflection point because they play a game. If he does not show up and play in that game, that's a turn in the story, right? That's the Cowboys. You can sit here in the summer and say, I won't play on my current contract. But that's a different thing to actually do that. We've seen it. Chris Jones, right, in Kansas City a couple of years ago. It does happen, but it's infrequent. So if he doesn't show up, that's when the Cowboys step back and say, all right, well, maybe this is more serious than we thought. Maybe we do have to do something, or maybe we do have to trade him. If not, they can play hardball. They can dig in. He's under contract. He's got like $21 million coming this year. If he doesn't want that money, he wants to sit out the season, he makes no progress toward free agency. So they do hold a lot of the cards. So when Adam says divorce, I mean, I think sometimes when people get divorced, it happens quick, and sometimes it drags on for a while, even though we know it's coming, and that could be a situation where maybe he does show up and play. Maybe he goes, you know what, but fine, I'll take my chances and be a free agent. Dak Prescott did this once upon a time, and it worked out very well for him. So if that happens, then the divorce that Adam's talking about probably comes next year after they franchise him, and he doesn't want to.
Yeah, that's the thing in this situation too. The prenup is all for the team,
Right?
The way the prenup is set up, it's all for the team to be able to do what they want to do. And now Micah Parsons has to be reactionary in that. So it's what way does Micah Parsons get himself on the offensive of what's happening?
So what I keep coming back to is this though. Like we're talking about, well, the Cowboys could be dug in. He is under contract. Like this is easy stuff. He is outperformed. Well, let's just put it this way. He has performed at a Hall of Fame level. That is objective. That's not subjective. The stats say so. He's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. He's doing stuff no one's ever done, or very few people have done in terms of his production. If we're talking about sacks and quarterback pressures, he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. And now we're sitting here like this is a manufactured, personal situation. Like he's not a risk to the team. He's not someone who is like stepped over. Like that is just some bizarre stuff to me, man.
All true. But what we're talking about here is like why this situation is different from Dak Prescott a year ago. Right, when you weren't hearing a lot about it. When they were still talking at this point and they felt like there was a pretty good chance they were going to get to a deal. But Dak, if they didn't, was like, I'm fine. Like, I'll just play out the deal. This is different because it's gotten personal and it's gotten public and he has made a trade demand.
That's my point.
Because he never
over what? Like,
he never
why?
locked Dak in the room, felt like he agreed to a deal and then proceeded to never contact the agent.
That's crazy. That's crazy to me.
I want to ask you guys a question. I want to ask both of you a question because you were both former NFL players and you played in different generations and obviously generations prior to this one. So the rules are a little bit different. But if Micah Parsons were to call you up, I'll start with you, Lewis, but I want to hear from you both and say, should I play a week from Thursday night or should I stand on this thing and roll the dice? Because he is rolling the big pair of dice, right?
Of course he
is.
is.
He's got $22 million coming this year that he would potentially be forfeiting. To your point, if the Cowboys really want to play hardball, then they could hold on to his rights for an almost eternal period of time.
Yeah.
Would you tell him, sit?
Yeah, no, you know what? Look, $22 million is a lot of money to kind of sit back and say, look, I'm just going to forego that because
that's
I don't want to risk
what they count on, right?
Exactly. So look, I would probably, look, if I'm Micah, look, I'd be pissed beyond belief at this point. I would play because that money is that money, okay? And you can't get that back. But the fact of the matter, trust me, every single minute, I mean, I'm not even Micah Parsons, and I'm thinking about it like every single minute I'd be thinking, how in the hell is this happening? Like, why are you doing this to me? Why did you try and take advantage of me in a conversation that we're having, a personal one-on-one conversation? Because I trust you, right? You're the owner. I'm talking to you as a franchise caliber player. Obviously, you have afforded me the privilege of having these one-on-ones, and now you're trying to take advantage of me, and you won't talk to my guys? Like what is that? What is that?
You also have to remember, it was supposed to be a conversation on leadership.
Right.
It wasn't supposed to be a contract conversation. And so, like, if Michael was to call me, you know what we have to tell him, Greeny? I don't know because it's you. right? I can't tell you what's important to you. Is it about the 21 million, the 22 million, or however much it is? Is it about your individual legacy? Is it about the way and the perception of the way people see you? Right? Because it is such a personal thing for a player, which is why it's so foul the way it's been played out.
Yeah.
And so for Micah Parsons, it's saying, if I go into work every day, can I even be myself? Right? When Matt Eberflus is telling me what I'm supposed to do, how do I respect you? When you're asking me to do all these things, knowing how I'm treated, how does that relationship now reflect to me and Brian Schottenheimer? And so I think it's a very difficult thing because what he doesn't want to do and what he hasn't been doing is being a cancer, right? He's a guy who came to OTAs. He's a guy that went to minicamp and wanted to be a presence. And now all of a sudden you're saying, go play. And you know what everybody else at home right now is saying? Oh, it's 22 million. Go play.
Yeah.
You ain't in that position and you haven't done what this man has done. And the history doesn't say you should be paid like he should be paid.
The only thing I would say, and look, and I agree with you 1,000%. The only thing I would say is, look, we all know as players we have small moments in time. We have small windows. Sure. And to sit back and go, because of this, I can't say what I'm going to say, type of situation, I got to potentially walk away from $21 million because this man won't do me right and won't be on the level with me. What a hell of a situation to put a young man in like that.
I'll leave it there. We'll see what happens. Again, this one feels unlike pretty much all the others that we've seen in Dallas. Very few that we've seen anywhere.